Hey everyone, ready to dive into something really cool today?
Always.
Perfect. Because we're going to be exploring how AI could be changing the game in education.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
Right. And, you know, you listeners sent us some fascinating research on this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Excerpts from AI in Education, turning the two sigma problem into a two sigma possibility.
Wow. That title alone, right?
I know. Just that title makes you think, like, whoa, AI could really make a huge difference.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this research focuses on Tasmania, where students, like a student named Jess, are facing challenges with, basic skills.
Yeah, those foundational skills, so important.
Yeah. And the thing is, one-on-one tutoring, we know that works.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Proven to be effective.
But it's not affordable for every student.
Definitely not. Not even close.
So that's the big question, right? Can AI give us that personalized learning for everyone? Like, is this the magic bullet we've been waiting for?
Right. Well, the research actually dives into what's called the two sigma problem.
Okay, the two sigma problem.
Yeah, you see, way back in the 80s, this educational psychologist, Benjamin Bloom, found that students with one-on-one tutoring, well, they performed TWO standard deviations higher than those in a traditional classroom setting.
Wait, two standard deviations? That's huge EE.
It is huge EE. It's a massive leap in performance.
Okay, but help me out here. What does two standard deviations actually mean for a student like Jess? Like, how does that actually play out?
Well, think of it this way. It could be the difference between Jess, struggling to keep up in class and suddenly understanding the material in a way that lets her excel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're talking significant improvements, not just in grades and test scores, but really grasping those core concepts. Bloom basically proved personalized instruction is the key to unlocking a student's full potential.
Right, okay. So personalized learning is the holy grail. Yeah. But it's always been impossible to actually do for everyone.
Logistically, yes. Impossible.
And I'll admit, when I first heard about AI in education, I kind of panicked. Yeah. Like, oh, great. Is this the end of homework as we know it? Are kids just going to have AI write their essays for them?
I think we all had that initial fear, right?
Totally.
Yeah. That fear of cheating is real. But what if we shifted our focus a little? How can AI actually H-E-L-P students and teachers?
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Right. So the research lays out these three very practical ways AI can be used to personalize learning, and we're talking right now.
Really? Not some crazy futuristic stuff?
Nope. Things schools can implement today.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's the first one?
The first one is called text differentiation.
Text differentiation.
Yeah. So AI can actually adapt how complex a text is, to match a student's reading level.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. Imagine, Jess is struggling with Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But with AI, the language can be simplified subtly so she can still understand the story.
So it's not dumbing it down.
Exactly. It's making it accessible.
I like that.
Right. So instead of getting frustrated and giving up, Jess can actually engage with the material.
That's amazing. Okay, what's the next strategy?
The second one. It's called retrieval practice.
Retrieval practice, okay.
And this is all about how our brains learn best. So AI can create, personalized quizzes and questions based on what a student's studying.
Oh.
It's like having a personal tutor who knows exactly what you need to review.
Right. And when?
And when, exactly. This actually ties into the whole science of spaced repetition and active recall, which, as we know, boost long-term learning.
So AI takes on the role of the tutor, making sure students are actually, engaging with the material?
Exactly. Plus, think about the time it saves teachers.
Oh, for sure. They can focus on other things.
Right.
Okay, so what about that third strategy, the one about AI giving students feedback?
Ah, yes.
This is where I really started to see AI's potential. Whoa, this could be big.
It is. It's going beyond just grammar and spelling checks. AI can analyze a student's writing style, the strength of their arguments. It can give feedback that helps them actually become a better writer.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. And it's personalized feedback.
Which, yeah, a teacher just doesn't have time to give every single student.
Exactly.
It almost sounds too good to be true. But I have to ask, how do we make sure this technology is used effectively?
That's the key question.
Right.
Because, just handing students a bunch of AI tools without guidance, that could backfire.
Totally. So what needs to happen?
Well, the research really emphasizes teacher training. AI should be a tool that empowers teachers, not replaces them.
Right, yeah.
Teachers need to understand how to integrate these tools into their lessons. Know their limitations.
Yeah, make sure they're using them effectively.
Exactly.
And what about students? Do they need, like, training to use AI effectively?
Definitely. Students need to understand that AI isn't about, taking shortcuts. It's about becoming a better learner.
Right, yeah.
We need to teach them how to use AI responsibly, to evaluate the information it gives them, to really understand why things are the way they are.
So it's about being critical thinkers, not just, like, passive consumers of information.
Yeah. And it's about supporting those fundamental learning skills.
Okay, so bigger picture now. What's the potential impact of all this?
Well, the research argues that AI, it's not about revolutionizing education. It's about making those proven strategies we talked about, like, one-on-one tutoring, personalized feedback available to everyone.
So it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about giving everyone access to a better wheel.
I love that.
Right.
And imagine the ripple effect. Every student, regardless of background, having the opportunity to reach their full potential.
That's powerful.
Isn't it?
It's not just about better test scores. It's about a more informed citizenry, a stronger society as a whole.
Precisely.
So to sum it all up, it seems like AI has the potential to personalize learning in a way that's never been possible before.
It does.
And that could be transformative, especially for students like Jess.
Absolutely. It's exciting.
Now, here's a question for you listening out there.
Oh, I like this.
If AI could unlock that personalized learning experience for every student, what kind of impact do you think it would have on the world? What possibilities would it open up? It's something to think about. Hit us up on social media. Let us know your thoughts.
We'd love to hear them.
Artificial intelligence in education sounds promising, but here's something that might surprise you. Studies show that 94% of teachers are concerned about AI potentially replacing human interaction in classrooms. Today, we're exploring how this technology is actually transforming learning in unexpected ways.
That's really interesting because I was just reading about how AI systems are creating these incredibly sophisticated personalized learning experiences. The technology can track individual student progress in ways that would be impossible for a single teacher.
Well, let me share something fascinating about that. These AI systems can now predict with 85% accuracy when a student is about to hit a learning roadblock, even before they start struggling. It's like having an early warning system for academic challenges.
That's remarkable. Though I wonder about the privacy implications of collecting so much data about how students learn and process information.
That's a crucial point. Recent studies show that educational AI systems collect an average of 1,000 data points per student per day. But here's what's really interesting. Some schools are using this technology in unexpected ways.
Please tell me more about these unexpected applications. I'm particularly curious about how they're balancing the benefits with privacy concerns.
Well, get this. In Finland, they're using AI to create what they call invisible assessment. Instead of traditional tests, the AI analyzes students' daily work and interactions to evaluate their progress. It's shown a 40% reduction in student stress levels compared to traditional testing methods.
That's exactly the kind of innovation we need. How are teachers responding to these changes?
So here's something surprising. Contrary to what many might expect, 78% of teachers who use AI tools report spending more time on meaningful student interactions, not less. The technology is handling routine tasks like grading and attendance, freeing up an average of 6 hours per week.
Though I imagine there must be some challenges in implementing these systems, especially in schools with limited resources.
Right. And that's where some creative solutions are emerging. For instance, did you know that some organizations are developing AI educational tools that can run on basic smartphones? They've reached over 2 million students in developing regions who otherwise wouldn't have access to quality education.
That's fascinating. What about special education? I've heard some promising things about AI in that area.
Oh, this is where it gets really exciting. AI-powered assistive technologies have shown a 65% improvement in learning outcomes for students with disabilities. For example, there's a new system that can convert speech to text with 98% accuracy, even accounting for different speech patterns and accents.
These numbers are incredible. But what about the human element of education? How do we ensure we're not losing that?
Well, here's something interesting from recent research. Schools using a blended approach, combining AI tools with traditional teaching, see a 23% higher student engagement rate than those using either method alone. It's not about replacing teachers. It's about enhancing their capabilities.
That makes so much sense. What about preparing students for future careers? How is AI changing that aspect of education?
You know, this is particularly fascinating. AI career guidance systems are now predicting future job market trends with 82% accuracy. They're helping students develop skills for jobs that don't even exist yet. For instance, they identified digital ethics officer as an emerging career 5 years before the first position was created.
That's mind-blowing. Though I wonder about the potential for bias in these AI systems.
Absolutely crucial point. Recent studies found that early educational AI systems showed up to 30% bias in their recommendations based on gender and ethnicity. But here's the good news. Newer systems using diverse training data have reduced this bias to less than 5%.
That's encouraging progress. What about the global impact of AI in education?
Well, the numbers are staggering. AI-powered educational platforms are currently reaching over 100 million students worldwide, with a 300% growth rate year over year. But here's what's really interesting. The most successful implementations are happening in unexpected places.
Such as? I'd love to hear some specific examples.
So in rural India, they're using AI-powered mobile learning apps that work offline, reaching 3 million students who previously had limited access to education. The results show a 45% improvement in basic literacy and numeracy skills within just 6 months.
These results are remarkable. What do you see as the biggest challenges moving forward?
Well, looking at the data, 3 main challenges emerge. First, there's the digital divide. 40% of schools globally lack basic internet connectivity. Second, teacher training. Only 10% of teachers feel adequately prepared to use AI tools effectively. And third, the cost. Implementing comprehensive AI education systems averages $300 per student annually.
Those are significant hurdles to overcome. What gives you hope about the future of AI in education?
You know what's really encouraging? The rapid pace of innovation and adaptation. 5 years ago, only 8% of schools were using AI in any capacity. Today, that number is approaching 60%, and the cost per student is dropping by roughly 20% each year. It's not just about the technology anymore. It's about creating more equitable access to quality education for everyone.
That really puts things in perspective. It seems like we're at a crucial turning point.
Indeed we are. And as we wrap up, here's something to think about. By 2025, it's estimated that 95% of all learning experiences will involve AI in some way. The question isn't whether AI will transform education, but how we can ensure it transforms it for the better. The future of education is about to be turned upside down. Artificial intelligence isn't just changing how we teach. It's fundamentally reshaping what it means to learn in ways that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago.
That's fascinating. And you know what really strikes me? The incredible leap we've made from those early days when AI was just handling basic administrative tasks.
It's remarkable how far we've come. Those first systems were basically just glorified grading software, but now we're seeing AI platforms that can analyze individual learning patterns and adapt in real time. Studies show that adaptive learning systems can improve student performance by up to 47% compared to traditional methods.
The personalization capabilities are truly mind-blowing. These systems can track thousands of data points about how each student learns and processes information.
And what's even more impressive is how these systems can predict learning challenges before they become serious problems. Recent research shows that AI can identify struggling students with 85% accuracy, up to 6 weeks before traditional assessment methods would catch the issue.
That predictive capability could be a game changer for preventing students from falling behind. But what about the accessibility aspect? How do we ensure these tools reach everyone who needs them?
That's actually one of the most exciting developments. The cost of implementing AI education tools has dropped by 60% in the last 5 years, making them increasingly accessible to schools in underserved areas. We're seeing programs in rural communities where students are getting access to the same quality of personalized learning as their urban counterparts.
The democratization of education through AI could really level the playing field. I've read that in areas where AI learning platforms have been implemented, the achievement gap between high and low-income students has narrowed by up to 30%.
Exactly right. And it goes beyond just closing achievement gaps. These AI systems are becoming sophisticated enough to facilitate complex discussions and encourage critical thinking. The latest virtual classroom environments can simulate real-world scenarios with such accuracy that medical students using them show a 40% improvement in practical skills.
That's exactly what education needs right now. Tools that can bridge the gap between theory and practice.
And here's something that might surprise you. Contrary to initial fears about AI replacing teachers, 92% of educators who use AI tools report feeling more effective in their roles. The technology is enhancing rather than replacing human instruction.
Well, that makes sense when you consider how AI handles the routine tasks, freeing up teachers to focus on the human elements of education.
Speaking of human elements, the development of emotionally intelligent AI in education has been fascinating. These systems can now detect student engagement levels with 95% accuracy and adjust their teaching approach accordingly.
Though that level of emotional awareness in AI systems does raise some interesting ethical questions about privacy and data use.
You're absolutely right about the privacy concerns. Currently, only about 30% of schools have comprehensive AI data protection policies in place. It's a gap that needs to be addressed as these technologies become more prevalent.
So, what do you see as the most promising developments on the horizon?
Well, the integration of AI with virtual and augmented reality is showing incredible potential. Early trials of VR-based learning enhanced with AI show retention rates improving by up to 75% compared to traditional methods. Imagine history students virtually walking through ancient Rome, or science students conducting complex experiments in perfectly safe virtual environments.
The implications for hands-on learning are enormous, especially in fields where practical experience is crucial.
And we're seeing some unexpected benefits too. AI-powered global classrooms are breaking down cultural barriers in fascinating ways. Studies show that students in international collaborative programs supported by AI translation tools show a 65% improvement in cross-cultural communication skills.
That kind of global connectivity could be transformative for preparing students for an increasingly interconnected world.
The impact on assessment methods is equally revolutionary. Traditional testing is being replaced by continuous evaluation systems that provide a more complete picture of student progress. These AI systems can track not just what students learn, but how they apply their knowledge in real-world situations.
The shift from summative to formative assessment could really change how we measure educational success.
Looking ahead, the potential seems almost limitless. Research suggests that by 2025, over 70% of students globally will be using some form of AI-powered learning tools. The key will be ensuring these advances benefit all students equally.
That focus on equity and access is crucial for making sure technology bridges rather than widens educational gaps.
As we wrap up, it's worth noting that while AI in education presents enormous opportunities, it also requires careful consideration of implementation. The most successful programs have shown that a balanced approach, combining AI capabilities with human guidance, yields the best results.
The future of education is certainly looking more personalized and accessible than ever before, thanks to these technological advances.
And that's really the heart of it. Using AI not just to automate education, but to enhance and expand learning opportunities in ways we never thought possible. The data shows we're just at the beginning of this transformation, but the potential impact on future generations is truly remarkable. Artificial intelligence just achieved something remarkable. It learned 3,000 years of human strategic thinking in just 40 days while mastering the game of Go. But here's the wild part. That moment changed the entire balance of global power.
That's such a fascinating turning point. And what really gets me is how that single event triggered China's massive push into AI development. They saw it as their Sputnik moment.
Exactly. And now we're seeing this incredible technological arms race unfold. China has set this ambitious goal to become the world leader in AI by 2030, and they're leveraging their biggest advantage, data from 1.4 billion people.
The way you put that really brings home how data has become the new oil. China essentially has the world's largest digital oil field.
And here's what's really keeping me up at night. The estimates suggesting that around 50% of current jobs could be at risk from AI and automation within the next 15 years. We're not just talking about factory workers anymore.
That's such a crucial point about the scope of disruption. What kinds of jobs are we actually talking about here?
Well, let me give you a concrete example. Law firms are already using AI to review contracts and legal documents, work that used to require teams of junior lawyers. Investment banks are using algorithms for financial analysis. Even medical diagnoses are being handled by AI systems with increasing accuracy.
Though I've heard some interesting counter-arguments about jobs requiring emotional intelligence and creativity being more protected from automation.
That's true, but even those jobs aren't entirely safe. AI is getting better at understanding and responding to human emotions. What's really concerning is the speed of these developments. We're seeing advances that we thought were decades away, happening right now.
The implications for privacy and surveillance are pretty chilling too. I mean, China is already using AI to create this comprehensive surveillance state.
And it's not just China. Let me share something that might surprise you. The average person in a Western country is captured on surveillance cameras about 300 times per day. Add AI facial recognition to that, and you've got a pretty powerful tracking system.
That's absolutely mind-boggling. And these systems are getting more sophisticated every day.
Here's what's really fascinating. These AI systems are starting to exhibit behaviors that even their creators can't fully explain. They're showing capabilities that weren't explicitly programmed into them. It's both exciting and terrifying.
The way you describe it makes it sound like we're creating something that could evolve beyond our understanding or control.
Exactly. And when you combine that with the current geopolitical competition, it creates this pressure to develop AI systems faster, potentially at the expense of safety and ethical considerations. We're seeing the emergence of what experts call a bifurcated world, one split between Chinese and American AI ecosystems.
That division could have huge implications for global cooperation on things like climate change and disease control, couldn't it?
Absolutely right. And here's something else to consider: AI bias. These systems are learning from our own biased data, which means they're encoding societal prejudices into automated decision-making systems. There are cases where AI systems have shown significant bias in areas like criminal justice and lending.
That's particularly concerning when you think about how these systems are being integrated into important decision-making processes.
Let me share a recent example. An AI system used for hiring was found to be discriminating against women because it was trained on historical hiring data that reflected past gender bias. This isn't just a technical problem. It's a fundamental question of fairness and equality.
So, what do you think the solution is? How do we harness the benefits of AI while protecting against these risks?
I think we need a multi-pronged approach. First, we need international cooperation on AI governance, something like an international AI agency with real authority. Second, we need massive investment in AI safety research. And third, we need to completely reimagine our education and training systems to prepare people for this new reality.
Those sound like good starting points, but implementing them would require unprecedented levels of international cooperation.
You're right, and that's what makes this such a crucial moment in history. The decisions we make about AI development and governance in the next few years will shape the future of human civilization. We're not just talking about technological advancement. We're talking about the future of human society itself.
On that note, I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about. This has been an incredibly enlightening discussion.
Indeed, it has. And while AI might be able to process information faster than we can, it's still up to us humans to decide what kind of future we want to create. That's both our greatest responsibility and our greatest opportunity.